Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
Clerk calls the case of the people versus Martez Richard.
And is that on behalf of the people, Your Honor?
And Laura Yagi, Assistant Public Defender, with and on behalf of Mr. Richard, who's approaching counsel's table. Can you state your name for the court? And sorry.
Martez Richard.
And you're, sorry, Your Honor. There are two matters here. We do have discovery in one, but unfortunately, I believe there's outstanding discovery in the second. So we would be asking for a brief adjournment to obtain that discovery, continued discussions.
And that's correct, Your Honor. I did request that discovery in that case yesterday, and if we could be heard on bond as well.
All right. But you're requesting discovery on both cases or an adjournment on both cases?
I am.
Probable cause conference will be adjourned March 20th, 2025, 9 a.m. As to bond.
Your Honor, we were informed this morning by the victim that the defendant, when he was in custody, check this, he did try to call her number 6 times from jail when he was in custody. And since release, he's been trying to contact her by call, text, and Facebook. She has not answered, and she did file a police report with, was it YPD? With YPD, and so that could be future charges coming because of that.
Response?
Yes, Your Honor. So first of all, this is the first I'm hearing of this. I don't know whether the calls were made before or after the arraignment. Obviously, I think that's really crucial to know if the calls were made before he was told not to have contact with her or not. This is someone he's had a relationship with for 14 years. He has 4 children, this person, they've had kind of an off and on relationship for the past few months, but my understanding is she saw on Facebook that he was dating another woman and got very angry recently. Obviously, I would ask the court to continue his bond, obviously continue the no contact order until, and potentially even set this for bond violation on the 20th, but until we have further information about what that bond violation is, until we have the police report or until we have information that the jail calls were made after his arraignment. My understanding is he was given a PR and released pretty quickly after. So again, I don't know, but it's very possible those calls were made before he was actually told by the court not to have contact with her. And we haven't been presented any evidence whatsoever of the actual communication or attempted communication. So until that time, I would ask that the court continue his bond.
Also, I got my job. I'm supposed to be at work.
Okay. And the other thing is Mr. Richard is a manager still at Burger King, right? And he just got a new apartment. He had been working on getting this apartment through his caseworker for like 8 months, and he just moved into that new apartment. And I know he was extremely concerned about losing that apartment if he loses his job, which would of course be at risk if he was to be incarcerated.
And I've been homeless for 7 months.
Check the dates on the attempted calls from the jail.
All right. Well, here's what I'll do. I'll pass it momentarily, let them check the dates, compare them to the arraignment, make a good point in regard to that. But there are also other calls.
Yes, the victim informed us that he's been trying to text, call, and connect with her on Facebook multiple times. So she did file a police report on those.
On those things. Do we have a copy of that report?
Not yet. I believe she filed it yesterday, so we haven't received it yet.
Can somebody try to call over to YPD and see if that report's right? Just make the call. Please. I think I know what the answer is, but whatever. All right, I'm going to pass it, sir. You're not to leave the court.
Your Honor, I got my job.
Sir?
Because we don't even know what's going on. So just grab those 2 files.
Court calls the case People versus Martez Richard.
And Laura Yagi, Assistant Public Defender, on behalf of Mr. Richard.
And Your Honor, I think want to put on the record, we did reach out to YPD and were informed that we did in fact make a call for service yesterday. However, the report was not written yesterday because apparently the officer wasn't aware of the bond conditions in place. So we are working to get the report written today and hopefully we'll have it by tomorrow. We did receive text messages from the victim screenshots, and some of those were from as recently as I think March 1st, as from the defendant.
And certainly after the date of arraignment.
Yes.
Jackie, I know it's gonna be hard for you to respond because, gee, there's no client. The one that I told not to leave the courtroom,
That's
but
right.
I'll let you go ahead.
I haven't seen what the prosecutor is referring to. Obviously, I would ask if the court would consider setting the bond violation hearing for the 20th. And my client was eager to make some calls. I have no representations as to his whereabouts.
Well, and we were kind of informed that he had left the courtroom. So just so that the record is clear, and I had told him not to, that I had personnel check to see if he was still here or had just gone to the restroom or whatever. And he was not here at all. And had indeed left after being told by the court not to leave. So we will not be adjourning the probable cause because he's not here. He decided to he's here and left. So bench warrant will issue in both of these cases for defendant's failure to appear based upon his leaving as well as the preliminary representation to the people. No bond on both of these matters. Don't know where he thinks this is going to get him. And that warrant will issue immediately. And I think these are YPD cases. They are. So after we get that warrant issued, if you could ask the officers over there to go find him, bring him to me.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.